guys, so the story that I focused on for this project was the hemorrhaging woman. And so the verse that really stuck out to me, or the version, was the one from Mark. And I'm going to share just quickly the two verses that really stood out to me. It's Mark 5:30 through 32. And it says, "And immediately Jesus, perceiving in himself that power from him had gone out, turned around in the crowd and said, 'Who touched my garments?' And his disciples said to him, You see the crowd pressing in on you, and you say, 'Who touched me?' And he looked around to see the woman who had done this." So, what was really important to me is how, in the midst of a crowd, Jesus still felt the touch, and it was a powerful touch, and it wasn't normal. And so, focusing on that touch is what I wanted to focus on for the project. And so, I found this song called Touch, which is perfect. It's by Sleeping at Last. And what really surprised me were the lyrics, and more than that, the motivation that the songwriter and artist Ryan O'Neal, had for writing it. So basically, O'Neal grew up a Christian and still is a Christian, and he wanted his faith to influence his music, but he wanted to be able to play his music everywhere. So while there are like Christian themes within it, they're not outright Christian songs. So he said in an autobiography about writing this song specifically, he was writing songs for all five senses, so taste, touch, smell, sight, sound. And he found that touch was like the most unique to him and the most interesting, because out of all the senses, you can like shut them off. You can plug your nose to stop smelling. You can, put earplugs in, stop seeing, close your eyes, but you can't turn off your sense of touch, which I also found really interesting. And so because of that, he then went on to write this song focusing on what it would be like to lose that sense of touch and what would that feel like. And he found himself, while imagining this and writing the song, he was in some kind of purgatory that's like between joy and sorrow, because you can find joy in not feeling the bad things, and then you can find sorrow in not feeling the good things. And what really stood out to me were actually the final lyrics to his song. Hopefully you can see this now. It says, "Down my arms, 1,000 satellites suddenly discover signs of life." And he said that in these lyrics, it was him being able to feel again. So in like the story, starting out, he couldn't feel, and at the end, he could. And then he equivalated this as gaining the sense of physical touch to the sense of feeling emotional, the emotional sense of feeling. And that just reminded me, that tie-in of the touch with the woman. Like, Jesus was being physically touched all around him, yet he really felt the touch of the woman. And so that's what drew me to this artwork in particular. And so this artistic reception impacts the way that I understand the way the text works with society, just by that connection of physical touch and emotional feeling. And especially right now, God is like pressing how important touch is in the midst of COVID, when we can't physically touch and be with our loved ones in that way. And it definitely changes the way I personally view beauty. I myself am not a physical touch. It's my last love language. If I could go without touching someone all day, I'm okay with that. It's just not my comfortable spot. But I think this is just a reminder of how important it really is. Whether or not I acknowledge that, everyone needs it. And so it's like a necessity for human life. And more than that, it really almost opened my eyes to the people around me who it is their love language, or even if they just need that and want that, being able to meet their needs and loving them in that way is a beautiful thing in itself. And then something it reminded me of in my past learning, and it just immediately clicked with the theme of God revealing how important touch is that as a nursing major in maternal, we learned about how when a baby is just born, the most important thing you can do for them is do skin to skin, which basically means, the baby's naked and whoever the human is, it's, mom is the first choice, then dad. And if that's not available, any hospital staff, anyone available, to take their shirt off and just have the baby right here on their chest, skin to skin. And that's like the number one success factor in a birth. And just how important touch is, and like God made it that way. And so connecting this scripture from the hemorrhaging woman and this song just really revealed God's work and touch and how important it really is.